So our computers are set up with Microsoft programs, and we'll review what that is in a little while. But last week you went over Windows and the Start menu, and you were with Miss Elena. How did you like Miss Elena? She's very good. She taught me, so she's excellent. She is the one who works at Mount SAC. She's an adjunct professor, and I used to work there too. I worked at Mount San Antonio College for like 10 years. So, and now I'm here full time. I love working here. And so let's review Chapter 2. If you want to open up your workbooks, you may. You also have your worksheets. Does everyone have the Chapter 2 worksheet from last week? Do you have this one? Okay. Everyone got one? You need one? Okay. If you can pass this down. Okay. Do you have it? No. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. You can pass this down. You need one too? You need one? Okay. I didn't know if I needed that many. I have extra.
我是专业是专业美术的课堂上的做著作的，你上了课你有做了，我是那个社的嘛。
So hopefully you did your homework, but we will review to help. All right. So the nouns, the vocabulary review. If you keep going back and forth. If you look at page 22 of your book or packet, you have a list of all of the nouns. And there are 13 of them. So you have 2 pages. You have page 22 and 23. So if you ever forget or want to know what each word is and what it means, you have a picture and you have the definition. So chapter 2, we have the learning objectives. These were everything that you learned with Miss Elena. Identify parts of a program window. Using the Start menu to open a program. Moving the window using a mouse, which was why you needed to know how to drag. Remember the first day we went and we clicked onto an icon and we dragged it around the desktop screen? Well, we're going to be doing a lot of dragging. And in order to move the window around, you need to know how to click and hold, right? And drag it around. Minimize, maximize, restore, and close a window. Hopefully you remember how to do that. If not, we'll be practicing again today. Languages, you got to practice this with a conversation. Talk with a partner or classmate about the different parts of a window. Talk about how to find and use different buttons, bars, menus, and the ribbon. What are those? If you were here last week, you knew what those, you learned what those are. Describe how to move a window and use the sizing buttons. And we will do that again today. If any of you have any questions, please raise your hand, all right? If we're working, definitely raise your hand so I can answer any questions you may have. There's no such thing as a bad question. If you have a question, chances are someone else may have the same question. These are more of the nouns we learned. We'll be reviewing these in a minute. More of the nouns. The verbs, the action words that we used while performing these activities. Open, point, minimize, restore, maximize, and close. Miss Elena did a good job explaining these? Yes. All right, good. She's excellent. All right, so now, if you want to go to page 25, you may. But these are different parts of the window desktop. And we'll go over each one. What do you see on the screen when your computer is on and you haven't opened any windows? What is this called again?
Desktop.
Desktop, yeah. It has it right here. And I just said it, right? Desktop. That's called the desktop. So when you turn on your screen, that's the first thing that opens up. It's called the desktop. And what do you call these pictures that represent different commands? Icons. Ooh, we're using fancy words now. Yes, icons. So you know when I say please click on this icon or please click on the Chrome icon, you know what I'm talking about. Please let me know if I'm going too fast. I don't want to go too slow or I don't want to speak too slow, but I don't want to speak too fast either. So I can speak really fast if you let me. So let me know if slow down. All right? And again, this is called the mouse pointer, right? This is the mouse pointer. So I'm moving my mouse pointer around right now. And how do I move the mouse pointer? I use the mouse, right? I use the mouse. That's how I move the mouse pointer, okay? And what do you call, let's see, this bar down here at the bottom of the screen that shows all the open programs? Taskbar. Very good. See, I don't know how long I used this and didn't know it had a name, but this is called the taskbar. And here, at the time this was taken, it's showing that there's a Chrome program open, that there is whatever this is, Adobe is open, there's music listening to. So all of these are, the internet is being used. So all of these are programs that are currently being used. Taskbar. It's good. And the button that opens the start menu. What do we call this button that opens the start menu? Start button. Oh, you guys got that one. Start button. Yes. Is that everything? Yep. All right. And this was just a review about computer languages. We'll be talking about this in a little while. But the reason why we have all these different programs is so that we know what the computer is saying, and the computer can display what the information that we want. So it's communication between the computer and you, right? And we discussed this a couple weeks ago. Program can communicate with the CPU. Where's the CPU in front of you? And what is the CPU? What is it? It's the brain. It's the brain, right? It's where all the thinking or processing goes on. Good. So it helps you communicate with that. It helps you communicate to the computer, and it helps the computer communicate back to you. Because this is the computer's language, right? And this is what we want. And in order to convert it, we need these programs, right? It tells other programs and machines what to do too, and this talks about it on page 9. Okay. So using the scroll bar, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to my other program because this one does a good review of everything that is in chapter 2 review. There we go. So these are the chapter 2 reviews. And there's going to be like a little quiz that we'll do whole group before, at the end. So I think I'll put this. I think I'll use this space, Ronnie. If you don't mind, I'll just use this little space right here. That way I don't have to keep going back over here. Thank you. Thank you. All right. A rectangle area on the screen that shows a program message. What do we call that? A rectangular area, which is this right here. What do we call this? Window. Is it the window? Yes. It's the window. Just like we have windows to look through. Oh, we only have those windows. This is called the computer window. And this is what you learned to move around on your screen. Am I in your way, Steve? I'll use this. Okay. the window. And what do we call the list that appears? This black list that appears. You see this right here. When you click the Start button, and it shows all the main programs. What is this called? The menu.
Start menu.
Yes, the Start menu. Very good. And before, all you see is the desktop. When you click this button, whoop, this Start menu appears, right? And you can scroll through it. And what do you call that button right there on the left lower corner of the screen? Yes, the Start button. Good. And then these, what do you call these icons? It's a set of directions, such as computer games, the Word program, Paint. This is the Paint program, and this is the Chrome icon. It tells the computer what to do. What are those called? Program. I was using the word program, right? So these icons are always, well, they may update them, but these show you the different programs that there is. If you want to do typing and writing letters, you use the Word program. Write documents. If you want to go and Google something and search something and look for research, you click the Chrome browser. And I believe Miss Elena talked about different kinds of browsers that there are. There's Foxfire or Firefox. There's Bing. There's all sorts of different, I'm trying to remember what the other one is called. But this one is Chrome. This is the most popular one that we use. Chrome. And in this window, we'll get to use today painting. We'll get to, did Miss Elena have you start painting, drawing on your computer yet? Did she? Yes? We'll get to do that today. So if you ever want to do some drawing, and I know I showed you this picture that a student did last year, a little bit of freehand. It looked a lot better in color, but this was a drawing that was done using the Windows Paint program. So you can do a lot of things there, charts and things. Okay. And then with these buttons, what do you call that button there? The button that looks like a minus sign at the top right corner of the window. So it would be, I see one right here, but it would be right in here. It makes the window disappear, but the program is still open, right? And you just said it. It's the minimize button. Minimize means to make it small, right? Minimize. So we haven't put it away. We've just kind of covered it up. It's kind of temporarily put away, which is what these are. When you hit minimize, the window goes right into the taskbar, right? So it's not closed. Okay. And what do you call this button here? The square between the minimize and maximize. Maximize. Good. So something that is small, maximizing, right? Filling the screen. And then the button in the same place. So once it's maximized, the button changes. And what is it called now? Restore. See, and I always get this wrong. I always say minimize, but that's not. This is the minimize button right here. And you're right. This is the restore button. Sometimes you'll hear it be called restore down button. So you can get the window and restore down so it's small, or you can minimize it, put it away, or you can restore it again. So you can do all of those with those buttons. And then, of course, this button is the close button. If you click that one, you got to start all over again, right? You got to double click on the program, wait for it to come up, then it's on. But if you hit the minimize, you're just putting like a bookmark and tucking it away. Hiding it, right? Start where you left off. I'll demonstrate. Down here on my computer, I have this program, which is the projector program. So if I click it, boom, it goes right up. And I can minimize it. It's already, let's see, I think this is maximized now. If I open it there, it's filled the full screen. I'm going to now restore down. So now it's half the screen. And I can make it. And I don't know, did Miss Elena talk about making the windows larger and smaller yet? She did talk about that. Okay. And of course, minimize. I'm going to tuck it away. And it should be down here in the taskbar. Alrighty. So that one, yes, the close button.
Close button.
And what do you call this bar down here at the bottom of the screen that shows all the programs? Which is what I've been using, that word, taskbar, yes. You guys got it. And then what do you call the bar that lets you move around on the start menu? Kind of, here it is here, going up and down. Over here, it's going up, it can go up and down. Those are vertical ones. You also see it go side to side. If there's more information to the left or right. Yes, the scroll bar. And on your cell phones, if you weren't familiar with it on the computer, you do know that when you're on your phone, let's say you're going to go onto your address. So if I go onto my contacts, you see just a little bit. But this is only the letter A. I have A, B, C, all the way to C, right? And when you move your finger and you go up, you're scrolling, right? Using your finger to scroll up and down, right? And you can see the little scroll bar appears. It appears when you need it. You can put your finger on the scroll bar and put it up and down that way too. So there's different ways of moving around on your page. So yes, those are the scroll bars. You can put your mouse pointer right on it and move it up and down this way. Or you can use your scroll wheel and go up and down. So or you can click, usually there's like a little arrow right here, and you just click and hold and it'll move the scroll bar up and down. So on the computer, there's more than one way to do something. There's always shortcuts, faster ways of getting around. You'll find. And what do we call this bar up here? The bar at the top of the window that shows the name of the program. Do you remember what that one's called? Now, so here is the title. And it's not titled. It's called Document 21, which means that there are 20 other documents that are called Document 21. If we don't give it a name, it's going to just call it document. So later you will learn how to give your document a name, and it will list it for you. So think of it as a book that you pull out. On the spine of the book, I don't really have a book that isn't spiral bound. Here, I'll pretend this is a book. When you have a book and you are in the library or bookstore and you see, this is called the spine of the book, right? The spine is the bone that goes up and down your back. That's the spine. This is called the spine of the book. And it has the title, the name, right? Well, your documents need names, and you title it here. So this is called the title. This is called the title bar, right? The title bar. And that title bar is important, right? You learned this last week. We'll go back to that. The bar showing the different icons, right? Look at all these different icons that are on here. Each icon does a different job when you click it, right? Look at all this. And there's even more. This one is only on the home option. If you click here, then a whole new set of buttons appear, right? Oh, and I just said it. I said buttons. So this is called the ribbon. This whole area right here at the top of your window. Wherever you see all these buttons in the title bar, that's called the ribbon. This is the whole part. And we'll get more into discussing the ribbon in a little while. And this is the word I just used, the icons that do different jobs when you click them with the mouse. So notice we have all these different icons. When you move your mouse arrow and hover over it, meaning you're just pointing on top of it. You're not clicking it yet. If you run the mouse arrow over these icons, they highlight, right? So this one is highlighted. So what are these called? The icons. I used it a minute ago. They're called buttons, right? So like on your phone, we have buttons on our phone, right? If we want to make a call, I can click this icon, and I can click. All these numbers are different buttons, right? Okay. So the same thing up here on the ribbon. You can move the arrow, and I use the word hover. This is a good word. Hover. Hover means to stand over someone, to hover, to go over. So if I'm over you, I'm hover. When you see a drone, and you're like, look, there's a drone up there. It's just staying up there. But it's hovering. Hover, to stand over. So when you move your mouse pointer, like here, and you're not clicking, you're just leaving it there, it's called hovering. And I'll show you in a minute. Like if I go over to this close button and I hover, notice it highlights. There, it's not highlighted. Just hover. I'm not going to click it. And this little tab appears. I'm hovering. And when you hover over the buttons, they highlight, just like this one is. And you see that it's a button. Alrighty, so now the little test. If we can go to our Unit 2 packet, this will have the answers to your homework. So let's go to 2.1, which is page 36. 36. Everyone should have this. I know some people just showed up. Let's see. I have my... Who needs to sign in? I know we had one or two people come in. What was your name? Maydays. Maydays? Yes. Is that your last name?
No,
this is my first.
What's your first name? With a D?
Yes.
Are you a new student?
Yes.
Maydays?
Yes.
Bermudez? No words. Did anyone else not sign in? Anybody else needs to sign in? Oh, what was your name? Yvonne? All right, so number 1, pictures that represent programs or commands. What are those? Icons, yes. Icons. That's plural. 1 icon. 2 or more icons. Good. And, oops. The button used to open the start menu. Start button. And then the first thing you see on your screen when your computer is turned on. Desktop, yes. Yes. And number 4, a small object that moves on the screen, and I'm moving it now.
Mouse.
When you move your mouse pointer.
Mouse pointer.
Sometimes I say cursor. You'll hear me say that sometimes. The cursor is the flashing, and you'll see that in the documents program. It shows where you start typing, right? But mouse pointer. And then the bar at the bottom of the screen, that shows all open programs. Taskbar. Good. How'd you guys do? Guys do okay? Yay. All right. Okay, and now 2.2, the next one. For 2.2, I have it, let's see, this one is page 36. No, we just did 36. Let me get to that page. Is that 38? 37.
37.
So you have the numbers here. I'm going to have the questions up here, or the numbers. So number 1 is pointing right here. What do we call this right here? The title bar. Very good. The title bar. You put the title. So in the Word program that I just showed you, the document title was over here. But here, the title is right here in the middle, right? So that's the title bar, number 1. Number 2, what do we call this area right here in blue? The ribbon. Good. And that's good to know this language because when I give instructions, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, the button is on the ribbon. Find it on the ribbon and you'll know, oh, it's this area here. And then number 3 is this blank space. What do we call this?
Work area.
The work area. Very good. That's where we do our work, whether it be typing or drawing. Number 4 is this button here. What do we call this button?
Minimize.
Minimize. Good. And this next button? Maximize. And then this one here? Close. And I think that's it. We got it all. You guys got it. And then 2.3, page 38. So this was filling in the missing words of these sentences. Let's read this together. Is everyone on page 38?
Yes.
All right. Open Word. Click.
Start
Button.
button.
Then what?
You guys are waiting for the answer.
Word 2016. Right? That's the latest one.
Word
Word 2016.
2016.
So this is, let me read this. Fill in the blanks to properly open and close the Word window. So this is something that you had done with Miss Elena last Friday. What are the steps to open the Word window? First, you clicked on the Start menu button, which was down here, and then the list appears, the menu list. And then you scrolled until you found Word 2016, right? You clicked on it. And then what? You find the title bar. And then 3, everyone, on the top right side of the Word title bar, find
Minimize.
minimize,
Maximize. And close.
Good, Tom, you're on it. Number 4, click the
Desktop.
maximize button.
Ah.
To make the Word window fill the screen, okay? So you have it minimized, but to fill the whole screen, use the maximize button, right? Which should appear right up here. Right up here next to close, right? It turns into the, so once you have the maximize, then how does the button change?
Restore.
The restore button, yes. Number 5, let's read that.
Restore.
Click the
Restore button to
make
the windows
smaller again.
Okay.
So you probably practice making it small and then maximize. Minimize, maximize, back and forth.
Cool.
Number 6.
6.
Click the
Minimize.
let's see.
Minimize.
To make the window disappear.
Minimize.
So is it minimize?
Minimize.
Or
Minimize.
to make it disappear but not close. Yes.
Minimize.
Good.
Minimize.
7. Click the something button
Word,
on the taskbar to restore the window.
Word count.
Since it is the Word window,
Word count.
we want to do the Word button.
Word
So
button.
when you minimize it, the program shows up on the taskbar, and then just click on that window
Word
to
button.
maximize it again, right?
Word button.
And last, put your mouse pointer on the something
Tilbar.
to move the Word window to different places.
Tilbar.
Well, the taskbar is down here, right? If you click on the taskbar, it's not going to move the window around. And somebody did say it. The title bar.
Title bar.
Let's see. Are you guys right? Oops.
Title bar.
I'm backing up. The title bar.
Title bar.
The title bar, right, which is up here on the top of the ribbon.
Title bar. Good.
Did you guys do okay? I know that one's a little trickier.
Okay.
Okay, but you got the answers now. Are you all set? Alrighty, we're going to begin. Let's see. We start our break time at 10:15, so we still have about a half hour. So we're going to begin Unit 3 right now, and we're going to start by looking at some of the vocabulary, and we will work on the pronunciation. Right now, we're on page 40 and 41. There's a lot of words. I won't go into the definitions because that's just reading it off. I'm going to show you. Okay. So, getting my pointer, so we'll work on pronunciation. This is on page 40. Oh, and let's give you your new packets. This is chapter 3 packets. Let me see. I'll start over here.
我那个好像。对，还可以这里边讲，就 Word， 全是关于 Word。我也是看过一个 Word， 对，这个过程是。就他写那个 Word 2010，那个没想到。
We have different pictures here, but they'll do about the same thing. So the first word is dialogue box. Dialogue. A dialogue is a conversation. A written conversation. Yes. So if you, and I know you and Helen are in the conversation class, so you always practice a lot of dialogues, right?
Yeah.
When they say, let's dialogue, that means let's talk. Let's discuss. Checkbox. We know what a checkbox is. We do this on our phones. When we touch and select things, a checkbox. Well, here is a check in a box. Checkbox. You will be doing that. You'll be opening little mini menus, and you will be checking options that you want. All right? Think of it as fast food. You know, it's like, what do you want? I want a cheeseburger. Do you want lettuce? Check. Do you want tomatoes? Check. Do you want onions? No check. So you're checking your options. Drop down list arrow. Drop down list arrow. So drop down. We know to drop, right? Drop down. You're going to see another little box, and I think it's going to have this little arrow pointing down like that. If you click on it, all of a sudden, this little mini menu appears, and that's called the drop-down list arrow. It's like a little arrow. This is an arrow, right? And all you see is this portion of it, and you'll get to see that. Some of these buttons you didn't know were there. And when you click on it, you go, ooh, okay, we've got more options. So that's the drop-down list arrow. Then we have the drop-down list menu. So when you click on this, all of a sudden, this menu appears with all these different options that you can check or not check. So we'll be working on that. Hardware. We'll learn what that is. Hardware. Software. You hear that a lot, don't you? Hardware, software. Maybe if you go to a computer store, what is it called? Best Buy. You'll hear them talk about hardware, software. If you hear or read advertisements for computers, you'll hear hardware, software. Well, what is hardware and software? Appearance. Appearance. It's what you look like or what you see. What is the appearance? Like the appearance, my appearance, Hopefully I'm clean and neat. Appearance. What do you look like? Appearance. So we'll talk more about that. Settings. We do that on our cell phone. We set our cell phone. If you put a picture, put my cell phone somewhere. If we set a picture on our phones, what did I do my cell phone? Did I put it on top somewhere? Oh well, it's somewhere. Oh, here it is. So, your settings. Maybe you don't want to hear the bell ring. Or maybe your cell phone ringer, you want to change it. You're changing the settings. Maybe you want to update the time. Or maybe you just want to put a picture of your family here. Let's see. What do I have here? Do I have anything? I have like this cave that I went to, cavern in Arizona, and so it's a picture of that. So I changed the settings, right, on my phone. You can change the settings on your computer too. When you change the language, that's changing the settings. You can do the same on your computer. Settings. And then we know menu button. Menu button. We've been clicking on the start menu button. So we have that there again as well. So we'll get into all of these words in more detail. We'll start with dialog boxes. We will open a window in a minute. And a window with boxes is a dialog box. So we were talking about having a discussion, talking with someone. A window with boxes, you can click to select what you want. So here, a drop-down list menu. Drop-down list arrow. So here's that arrow that I told you about. It looks like this, but when you move your mouse pointer over it, it highlights. It becomes blue. And that means it's effective. You click on it, and this menu appears. And this one says font. It's very small. Do you know what a font is? Font. Do you hear that word, font? Font. Font means the style of letters. Font. So if you just look at this slide, we have these letters are white. This is a font. These are different fonts. This one is black, and the style is a little different. This is probably bold and big and fat. This one isn't. This is a different font than these. These are all different styles of fonts. And here, if you click font, you can change the color. This font is blue. This one is white. This one is black. Here's where you change the settings, right? And then here are checkboxes. This one says small caps, all lowercase letters. If you click on that, no matter what you type, everything's going to be lowercase. If you click here, all caps, everything's going to be uppercase, no matter what you do. Here it says hidden. I've never done that one. But if you click on these, then a check mark appears. That means that's what you want to do. So here we have the drop-down list arrow. Let's say that together. Drop-down list arrow, which is here. There's another one here. This one is underline style. There's another one here. That's a drop-down list arrow. These are different. These arrows control the scroll box, making the scroll box go up and down. So these are different, but these are the drop-down list arrow. That's hard to remember, drop-down list arrow. And then we have the menus that appear. Now again, there's so much information there. If it all appeared, you'd be overwhelmed. I don't think it would all be, you'd be able to see it all, because there's so much. So it will only appear, these menus, if you click on these drop-down list arrows. Okay? And then if you click it again, it'll disappear. Or there may be a close button that will close these temporary menus. All right? Drop-down list menu. So this one obviously changes the color of all these letters or fonts. And then we have the checkboxes, which we talked about. So let's see. Let me see if I should continue on before we practice. Okay, so A, drop-down list arrow, a list of choices that opens when you click a drop-down arrow. And again, we are on page 46. So I have page 46. You see dialog box, checkbox, drop-down list arrow. It's showing you here as well. B, drop-down list arrow points down. That you click to open a drop-down list menu. And then the check boxes, click on the boxes to check or uncheck them. So that's important. If you click on a box that has a check, you click on it, then the check mark disappears. If the box is empty and you click on it, then a check mark appears. So you can click or unclick. Okay? Any questions on this? Okay. Why don't we practice that right now? We're going to pause. So let's see. I'm going to minimize this. So if you go to, I'm going to minimize my program here. I've got tons of icons here. But can you turn on your computer? It might have gone to sleep. You may have to put in your username and password again. But go ahead and get to your desktop. So can everyone get to your desktop? And once we get to the desktop, we're going to open the Word program. Word 2016. Good. And do you remember how to open the Word program? There we go. There's the desktop. So we're going to open the Word program. There's different ways to do it. There's quick ways to do it. We did this morning. The first thing we do, the start button. So click the start button down here on the lower left corner. You can get there. Where's my arrow? Click that. And we can scroll until we get to W's, right? Or, right here is the shortcut. There's the Word button right there. So we can just click there if we want. So going over here, do you see how the menu or the scroll button appears? I can move it up and down this way by dragging it up and down. Or I can just use my scroll wheel and go down until I get to W's. There it is right here. It says Word. But there's a shortcut right here. I can just click there. The computer knows what program you use often. So I'm hovering over it, so it's highlighting. These are all buttons. So I'm going to click Word. And let's open a blank document. So here it says blank document. Mine may be different, but there we go. We're not going to do anything, no typing. What do we see up at the top? What do we call this up here? Ribbon. Do you see all the buttons? Do you see any drop-down arrows? Yeah. Drop-down list arrows. Here's one up here. Do you see where it says mine? This shows the style of font. And do you see this word here? Mine says font. So in this section here, all of this has to do with font, which is my letters, the style of letters. Here, this says clipboard. All of this has to do with clipboard. Over here says paragraph. These are all the buttons having to do with paragraph. Let's just look at font. Here is the style. If I click this drop-down list arrow, all of these different styles appear. And here's a scroll bar, meaning that there's a bunch. I can go up and down. And mine shows all the different styles. So I'm going to click over here and it'll go away. I'm clicking on the work area. And do you see this flashing cursor? That's the cursor that I was telling you about. Here's the word cursor. That's called a cursor. That, if you start typing, that's where it's going to start. Okay? Just type your name. Can you do that? Just type your name. I'm going to type my name, Lisa Martinez. And it is preset. Preset. It already has, this is the name of the one I'm using. I can't read it. What is it called? Aplos? It has a name. Aplos is the name of that type style. And it's really tiny. So do you see down here on the lower right hand? It shows percentages. It shows a minus and plus. If you click on that plus and keep clicking it, it'll get bigger and bigger. It's like making the page bigger and bigger and bigger for you. So if you want to do that so you can see. Now there is my name. And I'm going to come around and help you if you need this, but let me move on to the next option. So I want to change the style. If I click, do you see my mouse arrow? I'm going to move it to the front, and I'm going to click and hold and drag it across. I just highlighted it. And then if I come over here, the drop-down arrow, and let's say I like Algerian, click it. It changed the style. If I click over it turns it off, so it won't change it. You have to highlight it. Once it's highlighted, here's a shortcut menu here, and this does the same thing. This has the Algerian. Let's say if I want to make it, let's see, if I scroll down, there's all these different styles. Maybe I'll do this one, brush script, and then click. There it is again. So here's the size. This is 11-point font. What's nice about these programs is if you hover over a button or an arrow, this little screen tip appears. Like a little label tells you what it is. So I'm going to highlight my name again, because if you want to change it, and I don't like this little button. Okay, there we go. That little menu. If I click on this drop-down list arrow, all of these different, and look, as I scroll down, you can see how big it gets and how small it gets. I'm going to select 28. If I click on it, that's bigger. That's on 28. I'm going to highlight it again, and here it shows color. This is the color. If I click that drop-down list arrow, look at all these colors. And as I move and hover my arrow around, you can see how it changes color. I like blue. I'm going to select this blue. And if I click out and unhighlight it, you can see that. So play around with the font area. You can change the style. You can change the color and the size. And you can even highlight, which is what you do. In order to highlight it, you need to click and drag. So again, you can click and then drag it across. That means you're clicking down on your left pointer, the left button, and you're not letting go. And you're dragging it across, and then you let go. Okay? You can do it from anywhere. You can start here and drag. You can start at the bottom or the back, the end, and drag. You can just do the first name and drag and end it. Or you can do just one letter. So these are all different highlighting. Okay, so I'm going to come around and help you. But we're looking at different ways of changing the font. This is called formatting. And you can use, let me try something else. If I highlight it, the B, if I hover over B, it says bold. If I select that, that's bold. It made it fat. That's bolding it. If I don't like that, I can click it again, and it goes back. I means indent. It's already indented. It's not doing anything. Underline. That's underlined. And I can take it away. Okay? So I'm going to come around, use the drop-down list arrow, change the options. You may find some boxes, check boxes. Good. Your ribbon seems to disappear though. So to cover it, why don't you select all? Click on all. There, here. There we go. So you have all these options. Or sticks. Good. Try different things. I'm going to go ahead and type it. 很喜欢那个对，哎，变成那个字，它这个字体变成是斜的，变成黑皮，So go ahead and scroll down. Oh, you minimize it. Good. That makes it look so pretty. Okay, so I don't know why it's preset so it disappears. But it does appear. If you move this up, hopefully it'll stay. So type your name and then use any of these. And then if you want it again, just click the same bar. Good. Good. Thank you for helping, Ronnie. That looks good. So you want to highlight it. So click here and highlight. And you feel like they should change Yeah, right there. Well done. Try different. Okay, so now you're going to highlight. So you're going to hold here. And then try to fill This little one pops up. You can change the stuff. So click this drop down to zero. There. It'll show you different options. It's still highlighted. So go ahead and I don't know why it's doing that. Being you know how to highlight that mark? So click here and highlight it.
不用点指啊，你可以选择是这样的想法。你如果是说不从这儿选的话，默认就是你想选哪个也行。
And you pull it down and pull it down.
不要的话，你再点击
You can do it. Oh, that's sticky, gal. That's fancy. You even did highlighting. So you did the highlighter, which is right that one. Yes, blue. So if you click that arrow, that option here, yeah, you can change it back. Or let's see, is it highlighted? Click here and highlight it again. There you go. And then click it. If you want to get rid of it, you click stop highlighting. And then do it again. Select that. Oh, it's not highlighted. It's that highlighted. That highlighted. Yeah. Push that back.
不是啊，我上班要用电脑的呀，我不用电脑哪上班嘛。
You want to take away the highlight? Select it.
对啊，我从一直都要用的呀，上班要用的，但是我 Word 不怎么好 ，Excel 我比较好，因为我用 Excel 比较多。
So highlight it again.
读书的时候学了一点点，然后自己又自学了。读书的时候学了个皮毛，然后自己就自学了。
It's kind of chilly over here. Did you already change the color?
不是你这个上班你没办法的，现在上班都是人手一台电脑，你不会电脑你咋上班嘛
Did you change the color? Maybe the size. Let's change the size.
因为我是做管理的，所以 Excel 用的比较多，Word 用的比较少。如果你做那种文字类的，Word 比较多，Excel 用的比较少。PowerPoint 用的呀，PowerPoint 用的比较多。因为年底要做报告的，要做总结的要用 PowerPoint。
Options. This is called formatting. When we're changing the look of the font. When we're changing the font, we're formatting, right? So that's what we have there. All right, I think we've got it. If we can please close or turn off our monitor, we'll keep going back to the program and do different things as we learn it. I'm going to minimize mine. So I'm minimizing mine. I can see now my word program is in the taskbar. And I'm going to turn on my slideshow. Hopefully it's right here. Put my slideshow back on. So we learned about dialog boxes. You guys are really good at that. And I'm going to go on to now the different hardware. And I'm going to select slideshow so you can see that. So hardware are the physical parts of the computer, such as the monitor. I like to think of it this way. If you can touch it, it's hardware, right? Hardware. Everything here that you can touch, hardware. Okay? So here we have the hard disk, the printer, the monitor, all of this. You can touch it all. You can touch it. It's hardware. It's hard. Right? Okay. But then we have software. And software you can't touch. It's what you see. Like the word program. You can't touch the word program. You can see it. You can see its appearance when it's up, right? So the different types of software are all these different programs. You have the browser, Google. You have Gmail. You know? You see the mail. You can scroll through it on your cell phone too. So all of these things are software. The things that, think of it as like your thoughts. You can't touch your thoughts, but they're there, right? You can draw what you're thinking or type what you want to say, but you can't touch them, right? So that's software. Programs added to the computer that are not hardware, such as the Word program. Appearance. So we got to change the appearance of our names, right? The way an object looks, such as on the computer screen. So we get to change that. When we see the desktop, how it's blue, all of our desktops look the same. We could change that appearance. That's the appearance that's preset. Settings. Now, we got to change things as we saw it. But before we changed things, all of our words or letters were the same. It's preset, right? We can change those settings permanently. Well, for a while, so that it always comes up. Just like on our cell phone, it always we change the settings so that our picture of our family always shows up, right? We change those settings. We change the way it rings. It's always making that special song or tune, right? So we can change the settings of the computer too. Here we can fix the date. We can fix the time, and so on. So this is the settings menu here. This settings menu is called date and time settings. Menu buttons. Now I know that some of you, I know Alma, she had this menu button because when she was typing her name, the ribbon disappeared. I was like, ah! And we saw this little menu button up there, and I said, you know what, you can click on that, it comes out. So these are different menu buttons that you'll see. Sometimes it looks like this, and you see it on your phone, right? You click on that, and then information shows up. Sometimes it'll look like this, and sometimes it'll look like this. They call this waffle, right? Do you guys know what a waffle is? Do you eat waffles? Put butter and syrup on it. That looks like a waffle. So sometimes they'll say the waffle menu. button. So those are different menu buttons. Alrighty, so we did a few things. What do we call a window with boxes you can click to select what you want? Dialog box, right? Dialog things. Boxes that you can click to select what you want. What about a box you can click to select an option you want? Checkbox. So this is on page 40 and 41. What about an arrow you can click to make the drop-down list menu appear? What's that called?
Drop-down list.
That's a mouthful, isn't it? Drop-down list arrow. I know I'm not going to remember that. Drop-down list arrow. What about a list with options you can choose from?
Drop-down list menu.
Menu, right. And I kind of drew that. When we were doing our names and changing the color, you saw like a palette of all these different colors, right? When we wanted to change the style, this drop-down list arrow with all these different styles showed up, right? So those are the menus. What about the physical parts of the computer system? Hardware. And then the programs added to the computer system that is not hardware. Software. And then the way an object looks. Appearance. And then information about how a program is set up.
Settings.
Yes, good. And then the button you click to open a menu.
Menu button.
And they have different ways to look, right? Wow, we covered it all. There's going to be more when we come back after break. It's break time now. When we come back, we're going to do some creative drawing, learning. We want to learn 3 different programs, okay? All right, so I have a few little snacks in a box left over from last semester. Please feel free to bring any snacks you want to bring for snack time. I have a few here if anybody would like them, but please enjoy your break. We will return in 15 minutes. You're welcome.
看一下，你叫咋的讲？看那它底下不是咋的？哦，这个你就把它往过顶。我记得我是。